Hey everybody, it's Susan. I want to ask you a question. Do you ever remember when you used to wish you could fly? Do you ever have dreams of flying? Have you ever really sat down and wondered what it would be like to just soar with the eagles? I might have a little bias, but I definitely have, over the last few years, felt like I've been developing my wings in a way that I am serious about, in a way that I'm actually starting to see a sense of, I could get some lift off here. And maybe I'm just being silly, and maybe I'm just hoping and wishing, but I do follow my hopes and desires, so I'm okay with that. But thinking about these wings, this is the next step in the 5 subsystems of the body that I'm going through in these videos that we work on to really integrate, to connect the core of radiant heart, because that's number 1. The radiant channel and the radiant heart, these always stay at the core of our movements. But as we have that radiant heart and then we push from the inside and extend our arms out from that really interconnected place at the core of the rib cage, there is a strength that is starting to unfold that is unparalleled. So I want you to think about your wings, right? A lot of times when we move through yoga poses, we'll just give the arms an alignment and then squeeze the shoulder. We'll put the arms in a place really, and then we'll squeeze the shoulder blades together to sort of fortify and brace the arms in position. But with Radiant Heart, there's no squeezing of the shoulder blades. So we have to find a different relationship with how the arms are an extension from the ribs. So just give yourself a chance to take your fingers across in front of the belly again, and push from the inside. Knowing that's your radiant heart practice, give yourself a little wiggle awake. Know that you can shake off a layer of whatever happened today or whatever was holding you down and sort of keeping you stagnant at your desk. And as you lift your spine and expand your radiant heart, feel your 10 fingers push into each other. This globe hand position is really helpful to connect the 2 halves of the body, the 2 wings, in front of the navel, and then as the ribs expand and the elbows pull apart, but the fingers stay glued together, you're really playing with the push-pull of bowspring, one of the places where you can play with this push-pull. Push the fingers and pull the elbows apart. And the bigger the ribs and the wider the elbows go, so long as the fingertips are glued together, as you're pulling yourself apart from the middle and widening out, you're gonna start to feel there's like a sleeve effect. I like to think of it like a skinny jean, from the fingers all the way up to the back and the base of the ribs. When we work with bowspring here, we're not working with just individual parts of the body. We look at the body as a global system. So as we're plugging in the arms, not squeezing the shoulder blades to get them back in socket, but rather integrating the arms as a system into the core of the body, into that connection from the base ribs T12 all the way out, where the fascial network actually allows the suit of expansion to create incredible strength as the bones and the soft tissues start to push-pull. So with your radiant heart, connection through the fingertips, you start to feel that skinny jean effect. Now another way to practice getting into the wings is to take an arm and make a muscle, make a bicep. Now this is something that we've done in all as our culture, this fitness world and then this world of good strong muscles. We've been good at either push-ups or bicep curls or pull-ups or a lot of different things that focus on targeting a muscle group. So as you do that, you can revisit that and have a little homage to the past. But look, when you think about this is a strong muscle, but this isn't very functional. I don't walk around like this and pick up things, but I extend and then I pull in, I reach and then I pull in. So after you make this muscle, think about keeping radiant heart. So there's still a push from the inside, but then as you pull the fingers in and bend at the muscle, you start to tone the bicep. But now, and take a little bit of a soft fist, and you can kind of see I'm wiggling the fingers here. I like to think of it almost like playing the violin, right? There's this movement in the fingers here, but you can come into seed hands, which is just curling a soft fist, and I'll go over that a little bit more later. But as you push this bicep to an extension, and you keep the ribs plugged in, and you allow the shoulder blade to lift and spread, you're bringing the strength and you're extending it all the way through the furthest reaches of your fingers, of your wing tips, if you will. So you can bend, create the muscle, and now don't just furl your wings out. Don't just lock out the elbow. You can see my arm has a tendency to go to a little hyperextension. So instead, keep the strength like you're moving through quicksand and extend from the back of the heart as you let the whole wing unfurl through the tip of the finger. This piece of pushing the thumb into the very edge of the index finger is crucial. We call it seed hands. So let's play with the ABCs of the seed hand. You have your hand forward and just think about fingers just dripping down like there's weight or water coming off the fingernails. And then as you bend each knuckle, having that dome hand effect like we did in globe hands, you're going to start to dome the center of the palm. So instead of flattening the palm and spreading the fingers really wide, we never do this like starfish rays of the sun hand anymore. We're really integrating the underside. So as I curl now, the fingers go softly down, the palm of the hand domes up away from the floor into the palm. Then I squeeze my base wrist where the thumb and the pinky, which create a V vector here as well, they squeeze in, and then I pull one finger at a time, and I create a little bit of a conical shape so they aren't next to each other like a fist, the fingers, but they stack one and then the next one's a little bit higher like a staircase. And the index is the highest, and you just snuggle your thumb right into the side of the index. And that last piece of where the thumb goes is crucial to keeping the bicep toned as the arm is in extension. So you're never, again, just flapping your wing out and locking your arms, but you're keeping that little bit of tone all the way up your wing from the push of radiant heart. Now, why is this important? Why don't I just go and practice arm strength by bearing weight and putting my hands down and doing a bunch of push-ups? Well, if you're used to moving from the arms or from the elbows, and you're used to doing a lot of weight bearing from your shoulders or even from your wrists, without plugging in, you're just going to continue to work the joints, almost repetitively stressing them because they aren't really pulling, or you're not really tapping into the real power of the radiant heart strength to keep the support and the weight distributed evenly throughout the body, so it's not compressing and overloading any one joint. So the practice of the radiant heart and wings long before you put your hands on the floor, tabletop, or in any bearing weight position is so helpful to start a new pathway, to start a new pattern, so that when you do go to place your hands on the floor and take more weight and actually put the bones under a little bit of stress, you're not going to go right away into the pattern of probably locking out, hanging in your shoulder joints, dropping the ribs, and then overstressing some of the joints. So you can see why these little things take practice, because we're taking a new direction with the way that the tissues have been patterned to go. So if we're really used to our yoga practice, our tissues are patterned to squeeze in and to narrow on the back body. And we're also patterned to just press the arms locked and place the hands really, really bright on the floor, which can actually hyperextend the tissues on the bottom of the hand. So practicing radiant heart, filling up, expanding on all sides, and then allowing the bend of the arm, the tone of the arm that comes from pushing the fingertips together, then you can push with resistance and practice extending the arms straight. Often in my classes, I'll teach people to, with eyes closed, exhale, bring the fingertips back together in globe, tone the arms, fill the heart, and then inhale, push the arms through resistance, and it's like the bones are pushing through the skinny gene of the arm muscle, of the sleeve of support, right? So as the bones push and the muscles stay toned, you get that push-pull effect, and the upper ribs, the upper back starts to wing wide, and the wings of your own body get really strong, staying plugged in. So coming forward, reaching out and then coming back in, reaching out and then coming back in, working on focusing your radiant heart as you do that helps you to really feel that long sleeve effect of strength. The next step, as you get more comfortable with pushing the arms out, would be to keep the ribs full and start to lift the arms up. As you lift the arms, you want to keep that feeling of push through your index finger, through the seed hand that allows the bicep to stay really strong. But then as the arms go up, you want to let your wings unfurl and turn out the upper arms. So you're rotating externally to help broaden the collarbone and chest across the front, across the top. If you keep the arms like this, the chest has a tendency to collapse on the front, Whereas if you rotate and reach up, then you're starting to really get that V vector, the openness of the collarbones and the push from the back of the ribs. So practicing that, just take the hands in front of the belly button, globe hands, and you push the fingertips together and pull the elbows apart. And right away you can start to feel the upward vector of your shoulder blades lifting and spreading apart from midline. Keep breathing and pushing the fingers, pulling the elbows apart, and lean back into the ribs so that you can expand the breath circumferentially on all sides. Then you can play with inhaling the arms out and exhaling the fingertips back together into globe. Keeping the strength of the arms, push out, ribs full, and then bringing the fingertips back together and to retonify the arms. So every time the arms extend, they have a tendency to collapse, right? It's just easy to just push from the wrist or push from the shoulder, so be super attentive to that. 3 or 4 of those, and already you're going to start to feel the heat building up as the fascial network starts to open and break through those old stagnant patterns. Then, once you practice arms open and into globe and then open again, you can start to push from the ribs and let the arms rotate slowly. And as you reach up, don't go any higher than maybe chin height with your arms. So you don't want to go into this point where the arms are too high over the shoulders. Just bring them about shoulder height, maybe a little bit higher, chin height, and take a few deep breaths there. Really feel that you're pushing from the back of the heart as you rotate the arms and push them out from the center to the wing tips. And you're gonna start to feel some warmth. And then practice 5 breaths there, 10 breaths. Get into the legs, let the hips be a little bit behind you as you bend into the knees so there's a strong rooted foundation. And then just practice expanding the heart, pushing the wings out, and feeling the connection from the fingertips to the base, to the core of the heart. One more thing that I like to play with as a detail with seed hand is to, again, like I was kind of saying, like you're playing the violin, creating the seed hand. Every time you actually come into this position, which is that soft fingers, dome palm, squeeze the base of the wrist and then curl one finger in at a time so that you push through the index and keep that arm toned. Once I have my arms out in full extension and my heart radiant and full in the back of my heart, I like to keep opening and then creating the seed hand again. And then opening the palms just a little, not super wide, just a little bit. And then again, pinky, ring, index, middle, and push the thumb out into the bicep. And every time I create seed hand, every time I open and curl in again, I can feel more movement in my belly, more winging in my upper back, and it's like I'm gathering these tissues from low and letting them stretch so that my wingspan keeps growing, keeps rising, keeps reaching. You have a wingspan, who knew? So I want you to play with that. Think about connecting from the heart to the very, very furthest tips of your fingertips and then strengthening that reach as you push out and extend the arms up a little bit. Take deep breaths, holding this power where the chest is expanding, the upper back is broadening, and you can push from the inside out in every direction, but through the arms, keeping yourself plugged in. I hope you try it. I hope you love it, because I'm loving having my wingspan grow, my wings strengthen, and my reach from the very core of my heart go further and further out into the world. I hope this touches your heart deeply. I hope you practice, and I would love to hear your feedback from it. Let me know if you have questions. Give it a try. I'll see you soon. Much love. Namaste.